Hello, everyone. Today, our research is talk about DragGAN, interactive point-based manipulation on the generative image manifold. So let's start with the definition of DragGAN. Next slide, please. DragGAN is a new method for controlling the output of generative adversarial networks, which called GANs, which used to generating a realistic image. So the traditional method for control engines rely on manual and annotated training data. Okay. Or barrier 3D modules, which are which often lack precision, flexibility, and general applicability. So DragGAN overcomes these limitations by allowing user to drag any point here, to drag any point in an image to reach an target point or position, offering interactive persist control over generated image. And now let's start with the method of image manipulation. The slide before, please. So our process consists of two steps, motion supervision and point tracking. Let's start with motion supervision, and the next is point tracking. So next slide. And here, motion supervision is based on the promise that the generators intermediate feature are very discriminative, allowing for simple supervision motion. Specifically, they use feature map before sorry.
Yeah, so like we are discussing as for over here about the motion supervision and point tracking. There are two methods to solve this problem in the DragGAN. So DragGAN is actually solving this problem. So first of all, there's a feature that's a DragGAN. By using this method, you have to just take the points of these different the points of the picture and just take this picture and just want to the point. Since we know the diffusion model used based on the original real data set and the edit noise to create the fake data. So in that DragGAN, you have to just create that GANs using these images to take the points. So like it based on the premise of generator, there's a discriminator generator. So here we use the generator. So that feature actually is very involved. So that feature is actually making it to make it more discriminative, since you know that a generator tries on to create the images the more realistic way instead of the fake, while the discriminator created the more fake. Has a highest probability to create the fake images instead of the real images. So that's the point that the supervision of a motion involves here. So there's another method that we have to see in the GANs. Actually, that's the point tracking. So there are the different in DragGANs. We have seen this the research conducted to just point out these images different points. Since you know the data, the images is established on the RGB scale level. So we use the point of these data to just move this point, and the associated you may say the point and the RGB values just conducted into the basic level of RGB to move these points throughout the image. So that's the part of the point tracking over here. So we have learned it that it takes the nearest feature, it chooses the nearest feature at the RGB scale level, and you may say at the point scale feature level to move it and diffuse it to that point move where we want to move. So by using this thing, we move. So here we have a demo of our present, and I guess Asa would explain it to you. So first, so continue to Asa.
Okay. Here we can okay. Here we can start with any 100 point and click start, and you will drag the point to your target point in any position. You can generate another positions of the image and in different poses for the human or animals. You can see, you can generate another image totally. Next.
So yeah, what we have learned throughout so far, and we have done. So obviously, the learning part is actually the conduction of conductive by the basis of few experiments that has a few shots of learning through this DragGAN's architecture. So using this DragGAN architecture, we have to experiment in the both the qualitative and quantitative way. So the comparison demonstrates that DragGAN has a very broad approach to take the images and manipulate it in the point tracking. So these experiments is actually involving to create the more motion images as well. So in the future, what we have seen, the motion of images is gonna be changed in a very different way, where we don't need the people that who's going to be the part of the very next level, but using this the basic level of architecture of the GAN and using these GANs images to point out and manipulate through to create different motions. No doubt change is gonna weigh extensively. So these experiments are conductively on basis of qualitative and quantitative. So that's actually creates a very good part. So the quantitative analysis, what we have seen the people that it's just carried out through the face marks. So as we know, the face has a landmark. So these facial landmarks is actually the basic target point. So we use this facial landmarks to just categorize how this DragGAN is exactly working on. So in the qualitative way, we have seen a very good results. That's making the DragGAN has a very broad limitation. But there are a few kind of distortion that has been observed on these landmarks features that makes that has to be additive way by using the different control net and control net models over this point. So the same thing, we have to take the images on the quantitative analysis, take the different manipulation. So here we have to use the DragGAN on the evaluation of the manipulation method using the DragGAN. So there are the two ways we have to construct it out by using facial landmarks manipulation and pair images reconstruction. So this quantitative analysis has a chart that we have to follow in the report. That report is also available. But the problem, but we have seen that DragGAN after using the different after addition of the quantity, that's the purity for the results are compromised. So in that way, that quantitative evaluation has also assisted. So using the facial landmarks and different marks that also evaluate this DragGAN DragGAN is comparatively a very pure to other diffusion models. So what we have seen that included throughout the strategy that DragGAN methodology, no doubt has advancement to create the different synthesis of the different images and manipulation it. That could be a part of the next generation of the motion and movies and different kind of the theater and film work. So it's obviously DragGAN, but that is few chances that it has to still be a chances there's a limitation that we have observed. The acknowledgement of the study that have observed that the different artifacts that is during the training and the challenges are also associated while you're using to handle the points on the different less texture and the making it a more reliable way. So there's a less region that has to be pointed out and you can just manipulate it while it's not overall converted to just move out and make it. So making these things on a very limited and certain area created a lot of just like centric sort of a DragGAN. So making it more advanced so that throughout the image can move and changing. So the researchers are still working on to change this texture in that way to create the enrich and searchability. So any question answer, there are the links of the collab and here the link of paper that you can read and demonstrate the project as well. Any question from so far?